Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the OntheLaulau podcast. So, I had filmed half of this episode already when my SD card decided to be full, and I was not going to film this again. I was like, I'm going to go work out. Fuck this. I'm going to try again. But no, we don't just give up so easily. So, here we are. I'm going to start all over again and make it even better than the first take. So I hope you guys have been doing good this past week. I hope you are happy, experiencing clarity and happiness and joy and all the good things. I cannot believe I cannot believe that today is August 20th. That's just fucking weird. You know that there's some shit happening when time is starting to go fast. I think it's because the dimensions are like collapsing together. Something's going on because when I was 10 years old, time was not going this fucking fast. I just put my phone on do not disturb and I saw a comment saying, ugh, there are so many comments who are assholes. I'm just gonna fucking go for it. I posted a video last week on my Instagram that I had already posted on my TikTok, the one before I got banned. And it was literally just like a 6-second video of me taking a tablespoon of coconut oil before having some drinks and saying how my liver was going to be like coated in good fats before I drink to better process the toxins. The video is now at 3 million views, and I don't fucking understand why. The only reason it blew up is because people were feeding off of saying how I'm stupid. Did I ever take an anatomy class? The esophagus isn't connected to the liver. The meanest shit. Like, literally, someone even said, like, why would I take advice from someone who looks like they eat for a living? And listen, I know I post my shit on the internet and literally anyone can say whatever they want. It's just so fascinating to me how people have the audacity and they have the biggest fucking egos in the world to waste their own energy commenting something that's literally nowhere near positive. I would never take time from my life to comment something that I egotistically think on someone's content on social media. Like, even if I disagree with it, why the fuck would I waste my time? It's such a waste of time. And there are so many people who think that just because they made a profile and they have an account on social media, they can just say whatever the fuck they want. And it's so fascinating. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So, oh my God. Sometimes it's a lot because you're just like, people, there are a lot of people who are stupid. Like, I'm saying this with all the love in the world, but the fact, I don't know, it's just so impressive because I never claimed to know that I know everything about it. I never claimed to. I know that my liver isn't connected to my fucking throat. Like, I'm just, it's very, anyway, this is what I have to deal with. But I posted a video yesterday saying how, like, yeah, being a conspiracy theorist, I used to have friends a few years ago. And then when I started posting about the things that I talk about, they fell away. And I just read a comment saying how, like, yeah, well, those friends dodged a bullet, and I literally could not give less of a shit. I don't care. But it's so annoying because it's like I try to find the good comments that who people like actually resonate with my stuff and answer them and just, but there's so much shit. It's like I don't want to read my comments. It's so annoying. And like, anyways, it's just literally on like internet bullying. So I think it's harder for content creators in that sense because I'm like me, it's even worse. It's even worse because of the things I talk about because people, oh my God, anyways, it's a lot. Just giving you a little glimpse of what it's like to be me. So this past weekend, I went to Toronto with my older brother and my boyfriend, and it was such a beautiful fucking weekend. And I'm so grateful for literally every single part of it. My boyfriend wasn't supposed to join with us. I bought the tickets to go see my favorite artist and my brother's favorite artist. I bought the tickets back in April, and my brother's been a fan of this guy since like 2016. Like, he's a real OG fan. And I started getting into it maybe like 3 years ago, but his music's really good. His name is Mike. If you've never listened to Mike's songs, they're really fucking good. So I highly suggest you check him out. My boyfriend wasn't supposed to come with us. He didn't want to interfere with the whole like sibling bonding time, but we gave him a kick in the ass. Like, come on, you have to join us. And honestly, I'm super glad he did because it made the trip. I feel like my boyfriend and my brother like had like bro bonding moments, and it was just way better because driving to Toronto from my house is 6 hours. Okay, it's a pretty hefty drive, and me and my brother, we wanted to drive Saturday all the way to Toronto, go to the concert. And once the concert was done, we wanted to drive all the way back. Thank fucking God that's not what we did because we wouldn't have made it. Are you kidding me? It's such a long drive. So we ended up deciding to like rent a motel room just for that night. And it really wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't because one hotel room for one night, like in Toronto, the city, was like over $300, which is it's insane. And like, yeah, I can pay it, but I don't really want to spend $300 for one hotel on one night, you know? So we booked this room at this motel, and if you've been listening to my stuff, you know how I'm kind of like icky and like not OCD. I don't know what the word is, but it's just like, ugh, I don't like it. I don't like sleeping in beds that are not mine, that I don't know if the sheets are I can't I can't. So the motel was like literally just like, thank God it was not, we weren't even there 12 hours. So it's fine. So basically, the plan was to leave Saturday morning, and Friday night, the night before, was my very good friend's birthday. So I actually drank on Friday night. Like I was having fun with the girls, like if you know me, I don't have that many friends. I don't go to that mmany social outings. I know I have to stop reaffirming it because I'm just sending the message. I'm like entertaining the vibration of a loner, and that's not what I want. But I've gotten so used to it. But then Friday night, I was like, oh, I'm just going to go say hi. I'm going to drop off her little present and her card, and, I'll go back home. No, it was actually fun. Her family was there, her brother, like people I used to work with at that restaurant. I don't know. It was just cool. So I had a good time. I drank. But then on Saturday morning at 7:30, I was like, holy shit. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Like my liver was processing, and I was like, oh, but it's fine. So I was a tad bit hungover on Saturday morning, and I had to wash my hair and shave my legs. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. Oh my God, I have to do 6 hours in a car. How am I going to do this? But it was fine. It was good. The road trip was fun. When we got to Toronto, we went to Chipotle because if you don't know what Chipotle is, it's the Mexican like grill place with burritos and stuff. It's just really fucking good. We don't have that in Quebec. So we had lunch there. It was supposed to rain. So we went to the dollar store to buy ponchos. And we had to wait in line for a really long time because if you get there too late, the line of people waiting to get in the venue is extremely fucking long. And the thing is, most people go to that show to get some of his merch because the clothes that he makes is really cool. I know he's really known for his hats and his shirts. He has like a company for clothes and stuff. So we were literally standing in line for like 2 hours outside. You're just waiting there. The line's not moving, nothing's happening. You're just waiting there so that you get to choose your spot, because the more people come in the venue, well, the least chances you have of like being close to the stage or wherever you want to be. So we bought the ponchos for nothing. Thank God it didn't rain. But once we got to the venue, I had brought a few like seltzers in the car. My brother was in a turn up mood. Let's have some fun. Like this is his favorite artist. He's seen every single one of his concerts, like when he was on tour. I went to his concert 2 years ago. So now it was just really cool to be there. And the thing is, Mike, the artist, said it might be his last tour. So this is why we were like, fuck it. We need to go all out. We need to enjoy this and be present. And that's exactly what we did. My boyfriend wasn't super familiar with his music only because of me, but I'm super happy that he came because it was so much fun, the three of us. And it was honestly like better, like logistics wise, just like the driving and then the waiting in line for the merch and stuff. And, anyways, so my brother was in a very like turn up, having fun mood. And he was super goofy, like talking to people, just making friends with everyone, which was super cool. When we were like about to come in the venue, I had brought my camera and like a tiny tripod, a small ass $20 tripod. And the security guard was like, nope, we can't allow that in here. So I had to throw away my tripod. And I'm like, it's nothing. It's nothing because it's like, it's only $20, but it's annoying because now I don't have my little tripod anymore for when I vlog. So I'm going to have to get a new one. So yeah, that was kind of annoying. But then the second we got in the venue, I stood in the line for the merch. My brother went to like secure a safe spot where we wanted to watch the show. And my boyfriend went to get drinks, but there were big lines everywhere. So it was like, thank God we were three and we split up and we were very smart about it. And it was just, I don't know. I feel like not a lot of people think this way. I'm the type of person, like, I'm going to look if there's traffic on the road before leaving. And like, is this the most beneficial time to leave? And I have to leave before the traffic. I don't know if people think that way or they're just like in the clouds. Like, I'll leave when I leave. If there's traffic, fuck it. I feel like I'm very strategic with what I do. So we got some merch, we got some drinks. I was so excited that they had Moscow mules at the venue because it's like everyone has ginger beer, and Moscow mules, guys, is vodka with ginger beer, technically lime juice, but they never put it. So it was just really cool. We had some drinks. My brother was dancing. He was literally making friends with everyone that was like around us. We were taking pictures. Like, I cannot wait to edit the vlog because I filmed everything, and it's just like this was such like a new core memory for me that I'm like, these are the best moments to vlog and to film. And I remember being shy about like filming in public or like filming yourself, but now it's become a lot more normal, right? Because there's so many people who vlog. But even then, it's like you need to document those moments. I was making an effort to be as present as I could and not film every single second, every single song, every single thing. I did want to grab some footage because obviously like it's really nice to rewatch and feel like I'm living that moment again. But take pictures of your life, take videos. Like, I know that everyone's hating on like phones and everyone's on their phones, but like I'm not talking about being on your phone scrolling on socials and shit. I'm talking about taking pictures and documenting because it's really important to do that. It's so much fun. And it's not like fucking 30 years ago when no one had phones and you had to carry a camera and take pictures. Like, you can literally document anything. So I'm just saying this, if you're shy to document your shit, please do it. You will never regret it. After the concert, my brother and my boyfriend were pretty tipsy, like in a good way. They were just like laughing, super goofy, and it was so funny. I had a few drinks, but it never hit me. And sometimes that happens to me where I drink and nothing happens. Good for them because I had not planned on it, but I had to drive afterwards. Like, I thought for sure my boyfriend was going to drive, but he was like, I cannot drive right now. So the boys, I had to babysit my little boys because, yo, they were tired. We got in the car, they passed out. The motel that we rented was an hour away from the venue. So I had to drive. I was so fucking tired. Like, I was so grateful that it was just in a straight line. And then when we got there, it was like 2 in the morning. We check into the room. We haven't eaten like since the Chipotle in the afternoon. We're all starving. My brother was like, we need to eat something or else we're going to wake up so disgusting tomorrow. So we ordered on Uber Eats at 2 in the morning, A&W, which is basically just like hamburgers and stuff like that. I think it's only Canadian. I'm pretty sure there's none of that in the States. So I got like a chicken sandwich burger. The boys got burgers. And when these men started eating their burgers, they were the happiest alive. They were like, oh my God, this is so good. It was really mid, you guys. I confirm it was just a very normal, not exquisite food experience, but it was just so funny. And then like my boyfriend ordered like ice cream and then they were eating the ice cream with the fries. It was just so hilarious. I was like, guys, shut up. Like, we need to go to sleep. And it was just super fun. I don't know. It was really cool. But the next day was the real hype because me and my brother, we've been following this brand called Alphalete for a few years now. And the owner of Alphalete, his name is Christian Guzman. I've been following him. My brother's been following him. My brother's been inspired by him for so many years now. And my brother saw that Christian Guzman tweeted that he would be in Toronto that Sunday, the next day of the concert. And I was like, what are the fucking odds that the only time we're in Toronto, he's in Toronto as well, the next day, like literally 5 minutes away from the motel? I was like, what? That's so crazy, but clearly aligned, clearly God's plan. So cool. So the next day, we were all really excited to go meet Christian Guzman, the owner of Alphalete. And when I started my fitness journey, Alphalete was the first fitness clothes that I ever bought. Like, I bought leggings, I bought a crop top. I was like so insecure, but I got more and more of the clothes and I started feeling more and more confident. And I have bought so much of that clothes. It's actually ridiculous. And oh my goodness. But anyways, like, it's fine. It's fine. It was a hype. Back then it was a hype. I have even vlogs on my YouTube channel of just like the Black Friday sale that hits at midnight, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I need to get everything." I don't know. I don't even know what that was, but anyways, it was a phase for sure. So we get to the venue, we start talking to Christian. He's a super nice guy, super friendly, and then I met his wife, and his wife also started her own brand, so it's really cool to like see them in person. But what's really funny is that like you realize meeting people that you've looked up to for a long time and they have so many flowers followers, when you meet them in person, you realize they're just people. Like, on the internet, it's so like glorified, right? Because you follow them for so long, you know so much about their lives, and they have like millions of followers. But then when you meet them, you're like, oh my God, it's a human being. It's literally just a human being. And I even said to Christian, I was like, it's funny because I know a lot about your life and you have no fucking idea who I am. And it's just, even me, like I document a lot of my life. I post a lot of stuff. I share a lot of things about myself. And I know that the people watching, you might know a lot about me. And then whenever we meet in person, I won't know anything about you. And like that's how it works. But it's just so weird because I'm just a person. Like I'm the same person I was when I started making videos. Like to me, I'm just me. But I know to some of you guys, it's like, oh my God, it's Laura. But I swear, like I'm just a normal person. Like it's not like this, I just think it was so funny. And there's this girl actually, and she's been sponsored by Alphalete for a really long time, and she had a workout plan back like 4 years ago. It was like a $40 PDF style workout plan. And that's the first workout plan I ever bought. So I was telling him like, yeah, I know that like Gabby, like she's been with you and the brand for a really long time. I bought her workout plan. And then he was like, she's here. I was like, no fucking way. So I feel like I was even more excited because I had not expected for her to be there. I thought it was just Christian that we were going to go meet. But the fact that she was there and that we talked for a good 30 minutes. So it was super cool. And when I saw her, it felt like I was meeting a friend because you know so much about them. And me and my brother, like, we even saw this other YouTuber that, like, he doesn't work with Alphalete, but he was there because he lives in Toronto and he was working out at that gym. And when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, because it was just so cool. You're like, I watch these people on YouTube, but then it's like, holy shit, they're right in front of me. So that was really cool. It was like a few unexpected people that were there that we were not expecting to meet. Super friendly, super kind. It was an awesome fucking experience. And when we left, I feel like we were all kind of on the clouds of like, oh my God, what just happened? Did I really just talk to this person? And blah, blah, blah. It was just really cool. I know my brother really, really got inspired by his conversation with Christian. So I'm just so grateful for all of that. And I've honestly been expressing more gratitude towards God for these types of things because, like you heard a few minutes ago, me once again reaffirming that, oh, I don't really have friends. I don't really do anything. You need to stop thinking and talking about the things that you no longer want in your life. So I've just been saying how grateful I am for all of these opportunities and all of these experiences and all of these new friendships and relationships because ultimately, if you keep talking about what you no longer want to create, you're creating it, even if that's not what you want. So I'm super grateful that that happened. That was so much fun. And I need to edit the vlog for you guys so that you're able to watch it in real time because I'm sure that'll be even cooler than listening to me rant about it. And the night when we got back after a 6-hour drive back home, I went on Twitter, X, whatever, and I was reading a bunch of things and I was like, oh my God. I know I've been saying for a while now that there's a consciousness shift on the planet, that there's a lot of shit that's going to hit the fan, the truth is going to start coming out. And I know a lot of people have been saying, like, oh my God, you've been saying it for so long. Like, we don't even believe you anymore. And the thing is, like, I'm the messenger of the message. It's not my message. So I don't really take it personally when people are like, oh my God, you fucking liar. And like conspiracy theorists are always saying something's going to happen and it never does. I literally don't give a shit how long it takes. But when you start looking at the facts and when you start looking at everything the way it's been happening and escalating, you understand that it's impossible for something not to happen. So I was just reading a bunch of stuff on like Kamala Harris, whatever the fuck, and like the things that are happening with Trump. And I'm just like, oh my God, this shit is actually going to happen. And I had a little moment of like, I almost don't want it to because, 4 years ago, when the whole world basically stopped spinning and everything was shut down, people couldn't travel, none of that shit. That was like the basics of the matrix that stopped functioning. And it really forced people to look at themselves. It forced them to slow down. It forced them to be at home and actually like think, instead of being on the go, having dinner parties and appointments and shit, just being so busy, caught up in the loop of the matrix of like always doing something. And I feel like a lot of people, it opened their eyes in the sense of what they really want in their lives. But I find that for some people, when everything started going back again, like restaurants and everything started opening, people were like eating that shit up even more, being even more appreciative of like, oh my God, we can go to the restaurant, we can go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, like, that's not what life is. It's part of the illusion, and it's all fine and good to enjoy that. Like, I'm right there with you guys. I'm not shitting on you for enjoying the basics of the Matrix. But yeah, it's probably going to go down. Like, most likely, 99% sure it's going to go down. And I don't know when, I don't know how long. And even me, I'm aware of this information, but I don't know how it's going to go down. I don't know if grocery stores are going to run out of food. I don't know. I don't know. And then I just had a moment of like, fuck, I kind of don't want this to happen because I'm going on a trip next week. So obviously my ego is thinking about its own little belly button, like, oh yeah, well, me and my trip. What am I going to do? It's fine. It's just I'm going to the States. So hopefully shit doesn't hit the fan. And then I'm in the States where people have guns. But everything's going to be fine. Even if you live in the States, you'll be fine. But it just like I have these moments where I'm like, holy shit, this is real. Oh my God, I kind of wish it wasn't real. I kind of wish I would, but I know it's real and I know it's going to happen. And honestly, I do think like the next few weeks could be very potentially when it does. Like the financial system is like one hair away from crashing. Like the whole stock market, the whole banking systems, like they're all going bankrupt. But none of that is being broadcasted on the news because people would freak the fuck out. So I don't know. I'm very, very interested in seeing how things are going to play out. Obviously, always put yourself in a protective bubble. You're always protected. You're always provided for. Everything's going to be okay. But like, yeah, the world might stop spinning again. You might not be able to do what you've been doing. And, we're going to have to adapt. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that I was answering some questions off of a poll that I did on Instagram, and there were still some pretty good questions that were left. So I wanted to do the second half of this episode answering the rest of the questions because you guys have really good questions. All right. So, first question: what have you gone through in your awakening? What have you found out? So, that's kind of a vague question. I'm just going to go off with what comes up. Um, Honestly, with the whole awakening process, like I would say present moment awareness is very important to be like conscious of your brain because I feel like until you have that little epiphany moment, you're not fully in your body. Like there's just constantly an inner dialogue running in your brain and you don't even know what it is. You are not even shifting your thoughts. You're not even listening. You're not conscious of your thoughts. You're literally just existing. And I find that like if you don't understand how your mind works, it's going to be really fucking difficult to be any type of present. So for me, with my awakening and the whole process of meditation, I just developed such a deep sense of gratitude for everything in my life, even though there are moments where my ego is like, what about my life? And blah, blah, blah. Just bring it back to gratitude. That's literally all you have to do because you already have so much. And even if you think you have very little, there are an infinite amount of things to be grateful for always. And I just remember feeling so much more peaceful towards life. Like that first summer that I was experiencing after my whole awakening process, my grounding process, all of that shit, I just feel like I was more excited about life. I was more happy about it. Like I remember that summer I was working at Starbucks. I was going to the gym. I hadn't met my boyfriend. Like I was still like, but I was just so happy in all of it. Like I didn't know, I don't know. You're just more present. You're more there. You're like you develop a new vision for life and you're like, "Wow, it's so pretty. Look at the colors and look at everyone and I'm connected to, it's just a nice little phase of like, wow, but obviously, this is a never ending spiral. So I've had multiple different layers of awakening. Like I had my ingredient food awakening the year after that. And that came with a lot of like depression and like discouragement because realizing that everything's bad for you, don't touch this, don't use this, don't breathe this. It's like so overwhelming, which is why I wrote my ebook, How to Not Lose Your Shit After Unplugging from the Matrix, if you haven't checked it out. I just hate sounding salesy, so I try to get it out of the way. But seriously, if you have not checked out my ebook, make sure you do because it's worth the fucking read. But I just remember everything was so heavy with that second wave of awakening that I was like, I had no interest to do anything. I started feeling lazy, not taking care of myself, and just I was paranoid and like literally like paralyzed in fear of like, what do I do? Who am I? Who am I? What do I? Yeah. So that's not a like as much fun, but it's also necessary. Like You can't just be in your life hunting the good times, hunting the joy. How can you welcome the darkness? How can you be present for it? Like, I still have days where I'm like tired, I don't feel good, my head feels like a burden, but I'm still present for that as much as I'm present for the good shit. So, just a little reminder, don't just chase the good shit because you know, balance, law of contrast, I guess. So, I don't really know how to answer that question, but what I have gone through in my awakening, I don't know, just regaining awareness in my body and who I am. And like, oh shit, I'm alive. Because it feels like the first half of your life until your awakening, like you weren't fully there. Like you were just an ego. Because I was, holy shit. Second question, how to make a living in the matrix doing what you love. So I never know how to answer this question because I have always followed the breadcrumbs that my intuition has left me. And apologies if I repeat myself because I feel like I talk about the same things in my episodes, but there is no right way to make a living. Like there's no recipe. I can't tell you do this, do this, do this. You really have to be willing to tend to the connection with your own being because I always left a job when it didn't feel aligned with me anymore. And even if I was fearful, I didn't cling to the fear. And even if I experienced moments of being in the unknown, I never let that stop me, if that makes sense. And whenever I got an idea to try something out or actualize something, be creative, I did it, not being attached to an outcome. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. So I feel like it all starts with your beliefs towards money, first of all. Like that's the main thing. You have to be willing to build that self awareness. And how do you see money as? Like, do you see it as in lack? Do you see it that it's hard to get? Do you see that you have to prove your worthiness first before you can have it? Like, there are so many different beliefs, and they're literally all personal to every single one of us. Like, there are beliefs that you are not even aware that you have. Like, even me, there are some that are still buried within my subconscious mind. But obviously, through meditation and through journaling and just building that self awareness, listening to your brain, like you will hear, let's say you go buy something and it's a bigger amount. What's the inner dialogue when you're buying that? Is it like, oh my God, we're gonna run out of it? Oh my God, I need to make more money. Oh my God, how am I gonna make more money? Like just observe what comes up when you're spending money, when you're receiving money, when you look at your bank account. What's the fear that comes up? What is it telling you? Because honestly, if you don't become aware of those things, you're going to recreate the same things over and over again because your beliefs are so deeply rooted within you. It's going to be hard for you to just welcome money if you think you have to prove how good enough you are for it, you know? Shifting the paradigm, shifting the beliefs programmed within our subconscious mind. Like that's a really good thing. But if honestly, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, which was episode 19, I highly suggest that you do because that is probably one of my most favorite episodes simply because I had so many realizations and the episode is like manifesting with God. And I find that manifestation has become a trend now. Like literally everything does. Like being spiritual has become a trend. Like whenever I go to like Winners or like TJ Maxx, there's now like fucking manifestation shit and everywhere and it just becomes so commercialized and you don't need any of that fluff. Like it's fluff, it's shit. Like okay, maybe there are different stages to an awakening and you might want to buy the manifestation journal and the crystals and shit, but that's all fluff. You literally don't need shit to make shit happen. But it's like now manifestation has become a trend and manifestation coaches and how to manifest your significant other and all of these things. And it's really great because yeah, it might work. But what I realize is that it's very lonely and it is very egotistical. Because what I realized is like the biggest manifestation and the most like loving one is when you manifest with God. When you stop taking credit, like, oh my God, look at what I manifested. Look at what I made happen for myself. Look, I reprogrammed myself and look what I made happen. Okay, you didn't make anything happen. You were simply in the receiving mode of what God wanted to give you. And at the end of the day, it is not about creating anything. It's not about attracting anything. It is about putting down your walls, realizing that you are so loved and that you have been blocking off the flow of that love, of that abundance, of that joy, of that peace. You've been blocking it off to keep yourself safe. And God has wanted to give you everything that you've ever wanted. But you are the one who's been resistant. So the whole manifestation thing, the only reason that it works is because you are no longer resisting it. You're open, you believe, and you stay there long enough so that the whole energetics, the whole realm of creation works and it brings it to you. Because manifestation, all that it is being in the receiving mode. And again, check out episode 19 of this podcast because fucking it was so good. Sorry, I'm cursing. I need to stop. But basically what I realized is I always felt manifesting was so lonely because it's like you're trying to take on the whole load. But like God's right there with you and he's just waiting for you to be open and willing to just let go, trust and surrender. What is it that you want? Allow yourself to receive it and then stay excited and grateful that you have already received it. It is literally so simple. But when you are this wounded little inner child that had to close itself off from receiving to protect itself, that is so traumatized from all of its past experiences that now it doesn't feel like it deserves it. It doesn't feel like it deserves it. It's not open. It doesn't want to receive, right? Because the thing is, if you're walking around as your wounded inner child who had to close itself off from receiving to protect itself, you are going to think that manifesting is all up to you and it's all on you. And you have to do the affirmations. You have to repeat this. You have to do this. You're not making shit happen. You need to realize that it is not only your doing. You are co-creating with God. God is creating for you. You are welcoming the creation. That is literally the balance of the two energies like working harmoniously together. But when we're stuck in our traumatized, wounded egos, we're like, oh my God, I'm going to make this happen. Look at everything I manifested. I understand manifestation. It's 100% fucking real. But it doesn't talk about God enough. That's what I realized. And in the previous episode, I talk about how I was very resistant to God, the whole concept of it, because religion was altered and controlled. I don't resonate with like being religious. I don't identify to a certain religion. I identify to certain truths within every religion. And I know that there is truth within every single one. But when I talk about God, I'm not saying like a person, or I don't know how to explain it. Like I see God as the creator of all that is, like just the creator. It's not this holy person that's better than me or anything. It is this unconditional love. It is this infinite consciousness. It is knowing of all that is. It is all that is. So to me, when you're able to heal your wounds from the past that have disconnected you from receiving everything that you've ever been worthy of, that's how it's so much easy to receive. Because I promise you, the most number one most deeply rooted belief in every single one of us is unworthiness. So if you think you're unlovable, if you think from everything you've experienced, or whether it's your physical appearance, what you look like, you don't like yourself, you're not good enough. Whether it's the amount of money, you've never achieved anything, you never followed your heart, you're not good enough. Whatever it is, there are so many fucking layers to this thing. And until you tend to those parts of yourself that feel neglected, that do not feel loved, that feel like they've never been seen, they've never been cherished and valued, you're never going to get that from anyone else but yourself. And that's what's really annoying, because people are like, oh, I wished my mom loved me when I was little, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to get that back. Your mom might go through a shift. Your whoever fucked you up, basically, you are never going to get it from them. You are going to get it from you. And once you offer that to yourself, then maybe the external reality will shift and maybe they will offer that to you. But you will no longer need it, because you will always realize that it was always you with you. I promise you, the mirror of this external reality will show you what's going on inside. So if you don't love yourself, you're going to attract people who don't treat you the way that like if you treat yourself like shit, you'll attract people who treat you like shit, and then you'll be like, what the fuck? It is only trying to show you where you need to go within yourself and address those parts that want your attention. They want your acknowledgement. Your inner child that was wounded by mom or by dad or grandma, whatever. It needs you now. So manifestation is going to work really fucking better once you go to those wounded parts of yourself that want that love, that are craving that unconditional compassion, but that don't believe it's there, that don't believe they're worthy of it. But when you're able to go back in the observer mode, instead of thinking you are the ego, you are the wounds, you are the faults, you are the mistakes, dissociating from that and realizing that you just need to love this being that you are embodying right now. You need to love this being that you are in this current lifetime with all that you are, because God loves you for all that you are, for like unconditional love is what it is. So until you have residues of, I don't think I'm worthy or lovable, and I still need to heal or fix, it's going to be harder for you to welcome everything that you want because you don't think you're good enough for it. You think you need to work hard. You think you need to make something happen, blah, 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 blah. Listen, when you allow yourself to receive the thing that you want, sometimes there's actions that are required. Like, let's say you want to quote unquote manifest abundance. It is totally possible for you to get a phone call from someone offering you a job or a gig or something somewhere. It is totally possible for you to get the idea to buy a lottery ticket and, oh my God, you win. But sometimes when you decide to receive that abundance, God will give you an idea, or God will activate an idea within you that was always there. Like, the idea was always there, but maybe you received it before and you didn't believe in it, so you didn't act on it. But if you had acted on it, that idea can bring you all the abundance that you want, because this physical reality's language is action. So sometimes, yeah, you can just sit in your room and be like, I'm so abundant. Thank you for my abundance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You need to do something. You can't just stagnate. Like, if you put a bowl of water on a table, it's going to get moldy. You need to move the energy. You need to move the water. Like, you're 80% water. So if you don't move, if you don't create, if you don't take care of yourself and you just let yourself sit and like kind of like rot in a way, the ideas are going to do the same thing. So I'm not saying that you need to be creating. What I'm saying is just you need to have some flow of movement. You need to tend to yourself, whether that's going on a walk, whether that's cleaning your house. I don't know. We all have phases where we just can't do anything. And now more than ever, it feels exhausting to be alive. So I don't blame you if you don't feel like doing shit, if you're not inspired, if everything is heavy, if you know that everything in this world is going to crash pretty fucking soon. I understand how it's not very tempting to do anything. But you need to not close yourself off to life. And you cannot hold on to that discouragement and make it your own, put it in your pocket, and carry it around everywhere you go. I know it's hard. I really do. You have all my full compassion. But honestly, man, like, you just need to be in some type of movement. You need to stay grateful for the things that you want. And when you get that inspired idea to take that action, it could be 2 weeks after you made the decision and you perform the act of receiving and just being like, I receive this now. I know the power of God is working for me. Thank you so much. It might take 2 weeks. It might take 2 months, might take 2 years. Just don't get discouraged. Literally, everything exists, everything is possible. I don't know who you idolize, I don't know who you look up to, but just look at what they've achieved. There are so many people who have achieved so many things. Why can't you? Why can't you? Unworthiness. Look at it first. Until you tend to that unworthiness, holy shit, it's going to block off a lot of things. So, how to make a living in the matrix? Can you even give yourself permission to do what you really want to do? Do you even know what you want to do? Oh no, I don't know what my thing is. I don't know what I want. You need to figure that out first. It's like you can't go shopping for houses if you don't know if you want a house or an apartment. Do you want a house or an apartment? A car? Do you want an SUV or you want a lower car? You want to adopt a pet? Do you want a dog or a cat? What is it that you want? Just sit with yourself and get real about what it is that you want and realize that you can have everything that you want. And if there were no limits, if you could not fail, and if you could only succeed, what would you do? That's it. So when people, how to make a living in the matrix, you don't need to work a 9 to 5 job. You might not want to, but there's actually nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5 job, because let's say it's a job that you really enjoy, you love your coworkers, it's in the field that you really feel good at, you feel good there. There's nothing wrong with working a job if you like it. There's a whole wave right now. You need to quit your 9 to 5. You need to quit. I get it. 9 to 5s won't be around forever, because with the whole fucking shift that this world is going through, a lot of jobs are going to be wiped. But if you do have a job, how can you show up there and literally be the most radiating light there. I remember at some point I was over my job, but I had not taken the decision that I didn't want to be there anymore. But every time I would go in, because I worked at Starbucks, so I was a barista, right? I was like, how can I make this coffee the best I can? How can I serve someone and make their day the best day it can be? Obviously, before I got really fucking fed up, I was applying that, and my days were really good because I was just so present. I was literally blessing the coffees I was making with so much love. I was so kind. But it came to a point where at some point I was like, okay, I've spread as much love and light as I can, but now it's time to move on. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, literally, if you have a 9 to 5 job and you're over it and you've made the decision to let it go, well, while the doors are being opened and while the pieces are being put in place for you to leave that place, how can you be the most loving and the biggest radiating light ever? Because that's what mankind needs right now. I know people think they need to invent the new biggest thing. They need to be the next biggest. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. And I can confirm that because meeting one of the people on social media that I looked up to the most and realizing they're just a human being and that the number of followers that they have on it's just a number on a screen. It doesn't add value to a person. It doesn't make them better. It literally just is. Like, there's so many factors that don't even fucking matter that we take into consideration and we make a big deal out of it. I don't know if that made any sense. I just feel like I had to put it out there. So, you guys, we are already at the end of episode 20. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. I feel like it was kind of chaotic today, but I'm sure the points connected themselves. So, make sure you check out my ebooks at laura.renaud.com. Let me know if you have questions or requests for next week's episode. And I really appreciate you taking your time to listen to this today. I hope you enjoyed every second of it. I am sending you so much love and light for your next week, and I'll see you in episode 21. Okay. I love you guys so much, and thank you. I'll see you next week. Okay. I'll see you. I promise I'll be back. Okay. Bye.